The different forms of trauma. Presented by the Ward and Wellness Services. In association with CJ Ward Creations. Before. The greatest method to help children and family members heal after a wildfire is to be prepared ahead of time. Families should do the following to increase their preparedness. Determine their wildfire risk. Families should make sure they have adequate risk insurance. Learn how to get the most up-to-date official wildfire information. Families should decide whether radio stations, websites, or social media sites will deliver the most up-to-date and reliable information. Encourage them to join a community alert system. Make sure you have a strategy in place in case of an emergency. Families should be aware of the best route and an alternate route for evacuating from their house, business, and school by car and on foot. In the event of an evacuation, they should designate family members or acquaintances with whom they can stay. If any family members have persistent health concerns, mobility issues, or may require assistance during an evacuation, encourage them to contact local authorities. Put together an emergency go kit. Families should keep enough water, food, and other emergency supplies to last at least 3 days, as well as enough prescriptions to last at least 7 days. Assign them the task of gathering copies of key documents, a radio with batteries in case of official weather updates, and pet supplies. In the event of a hasty evacuation, keeping the emergency kit in a large backpack, duffel bag, or easy-to-carry container can be beneficial. Review the family preparation plan for a detailed list of items to include. Develop a family communication strategy. Families should keep crucial contact information on hand and know who to contact if they become separated from one another. Request that they share this information with babysitters. Families should complete out the preparedness wallet card to arrange this and manicure your landscaping on a regular basis. Families should cut low-hanging and dead tree limbs, remove trash, and clean their gutters at least once a year. If you live in a high-risk location, have them think about using fire-resistant building materials and plants when you add or change your landscaping. Gas barbecues and propane tanks should be kept out of the house. Make provisions for children's needs. Parents and caregivers should provide children with straightforward, factual information about wildfires. This includes the ecological benefits that some flames can provide. Ascertain that your children are aware of what to do in the event of a fire, and have them practice evacuating together. Remind them that as the winds change, so will the amount of smoke and ash. During this period, they should strive to limit their outdoor activity. Help Kids Cope is a mobile app that teaches parents and caregivers how to communicate with children at various stages of development. Knowing what to do in the event of a wildfire can give families a sense of control and enable them to take precautions to ensure their safety. Take into account the following. Families should minimize exposure to smoke and ash during a wildfire if they are not in an evacuation zone. Families should be encouraged to close doors, windows, vents, and fireplace screens and set their air conditioning to recycle the indoor air. Staying indoors and limiting hard exercise are the best options. To avoid irritation, family members might use masks if necessary. Be prepared to flee as soon as possible. Check to see if your automobile is fueled and in excellent working order, or contact emergency management for information on public transportation pickup places and procedures. It is best to keep cell phones charged, confirm with friends or family members they want to stay with, and have their emergency go bag assembled and ready. Families should be aware of whether or not they can bring their pets or livestock with them, as well as how to keep them cool, hydrated, and fed if they can't. Water their roof and shrubs to avoid any damage. Keep an eye on their situation and evacuate if necessary. Families should keep an eye out for evacuation notifications in the official local media and on social media. Keep in mind that depending on the wind and weather, circumstances might change quickly. When officials say it's time to leave, make sure everyone follows the instructions. Gather their emergency go kit, any loved ones, and pets in their car or pooled transportation during an evacuation. Families should maintain emergency information in their cars to be informed and notify family members once they have safely evacuated. If you're driving, bear in mind that smoke will limit visibility, so take it slow and close the windows and air vents. Return home only when officials say it's safe to do so. Take precautions to safeguard their belongings. To make the house more apparent in smoke, tell families to turn on exterior lights and leave a light on in every room. Families should relocate flammable furniture to the middle of the house, away from windows and glass doors, if time allows. Remove any combustible curtains or window decorations as well. If they are unable to evacuate, families should stick to their plan to keep pets and livestock cool, hydrated, nourished, and safe. If necessary, locate a designated public shelter. Families can identify the nearest open shelter by texting shelter and their zip code to 43362 for FEMA. They can also use the Shelter Finder app from the American Red Cross. Families should evaluate for injuries and health issues as soon as a wildfire is contained. Parents and caregivers must ensure that their children and others in their care are not hurt or suffering from health problems. Medical treatment or basic first aid may be required right away. Keep an eye out for active burn areas. There may be hot areas that erupt from time to time. Families should escape if this occurs. Smoldering surfaces or trash, ash pits, and burnt trees should all be avoided. Keep the smoke at bay. Despite the fact that the flames are no longer a threat, smoke and ash may still be present. Families should be encouraged to keep windows, vents, and fireplace screens closed until the air quality has improved. Assess the security of their yard and surroundings. Parents and caregivers should inspect their yard to ensure that it is safe for children to play there. They should be urged to report downed electrical wires to the utility company as soon as possible. When cleaning the house, be cautious. When cleaning up their homes, families should use masks and sturdy shoes. Throw away any contaminated food, and don't drink the water until it's been cleared by officials. Parents and caregivers can address children's reactions during a wildfire by be a calm role model. Children may imitate the reactions of adults around them, and they may pick up ideas for self-care from what their parents and caregivers do. Use a quiet, steady voice to deliver simple but accurate information. Tell the kids that the firefighters are working hard to extinguish the blaze. This gives them comfort in knowing that adults are actively working to safeguard them, their house, and their community. Also, make sure kids realize that while flames might burn for days or weeks, this does not always indicate their home is in danger. Assist them in determining when the fire is out. Encourage activities that are soothing or distracting. Children may benefit from gentle breathing or holding a teddy animal or blanket to help them relax. Because they won't be able to go outside for a while, have them think of things that don't need much physical work, such as board games, reading, or putting together a puzzle. Finding opportunities for parents and caregivers to take a minute for themselves, express their thoughts, accept that this is a scary circumstance, and engage in a coping plan may be beneficial. After. Most families will heal over time after a wildfire, especially with the help of family, friends, and organizations. The period of recovery is determined in part by whether they had to flee and how much time they had to respond, as well as the degree of the community's destruction and loss. Some families may be able to resume their normal routines quickly, while others will face losses and damage to their home and belongings, as well as the need to locate new housing and financial difficulties. Some families reside in places where they will be more vulnerable to floods or mudslides during the rainy season, adding to their anxiety and concern. Depending on their age, developmental level, and prior experiences, children will react differently to wildfires. Children may be frightened about their safety and fear that another wildfire will break out. They may also be reminded if they see a fire of any kind, campfires, barbecues, fireplace fires, smell smoke or see ash, have windy days or warm dry weather, or watch holiday fireworks. Children's behavior may also change, such as clinging to parents or caretakers, experiencing more headaches and stomachaches, performing poorly in school, or retreating from formerly enjoyed activities. The way their parents and caregivers deal with the aftermath of the wildfire, as well as the behaviors they model, will have an impact on their functioning and rehabilitation. Adults are frequently sought out by children for information, comfort, and assistance. After the wildfire, parents and caregivers should model being calm and hopeful. Give accurate knowledge and honest answers to questions at the appropriate developmental stage. Be patient when responding to behavioral changes. Provide reassurance, structure, and a regular routine. Pay attention to their own health and ability to cope. Wildfire resources. Definition: wildfires are fires that spread quickly and uncontrollably through woodland, brushland, grassland, scrubland, peatland, and other woody areas. Wildfires are distinguished from other fires by their bigger size, the speed with which they can spread from their origin, the capacity to shift course suddenly, and the ability to jump gaps, example, roads, rivers, and fire breaks. Periodic fires can help the ecology by reducing dead or overabundant plants, reducing the amount of harmful insects, recycling nutrients back into the soil, and encouraging plant growth. They can, however, wreak havoc on land, wildlife, houses, businesses, and schools. They produce a lot of smoke and ash, which raises safety concerns by restricting outdoor activities, intensifying medical conditions, and exacerbating respiratory problems. During the summer and fall, when the weather is dry, as well as during droughts, wildfires are most common. On red flag days, when it is windy, hot, and dry, they usually begin and spread. During heavy rains, wildfire-affected communities are more likely to experience flooding and mudslides, which can add to the stress in the weeks, months, and years following the catastrophe.